Welcome to today's episode of our podcast. Before we embark on today's journey, it's important to share that we'll be exploring topics of a more serious nature, including death, suicide, and mental health. These discussions can be sensitive and might not be suitable for all listeners. While we aim to address these issues with the utmost respect and understanding, we'll also be adding a sprinkle of humor in hopes of providing a little light in the darkness. However, we recognize the gravity of these topics and encourage anyone who may be affected by them to seek support from friends, family, or professionals. Listener discretion is advised, and we thank you for joining us with an open heart and mind. Hello, our fellow gamers. My name is Chris, and welcome to Horton Brothers Grimm, a podcast where we talk about video games with our brothers. Or as brothers? I don't know how you say that. I guess as brothers. And then today we actually have a special guest. So we'll introduce him first. Wade, the man, Braden from Red Magnolia Films. What's up, dude?
What's up, guys? Chris, Scott, Zach, thanks for having me on.
What it do?
Thanks for joining.
And you might as well say I've known you guys for quite a while, so you might as well say I'm a brother as well.
Absolutely.
Honorary
I would
brother,
include
yes.
you in that.
Let's go. Easily.
Lots of adventures together.
Yeah, brother, not brother, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And then we got Scott, the oldest man in the building here.
Yeah, as usual.
And of course, Zach,
I'm always here.
who's not the chief today, by the way. He's just Zachary today.
Well, Zachary, and then like my title's Horton. So.
His title is just Horton. Makes sense to me.
Just Horton. That's whatever.
And we have something special today in our episode. We're adding a discussion of a film, a documentary film called Second Skin, and that's why Wade's here. He's very passionate about films.
It's not about what was that guy's name that used to cut people's skin off and wear it?
Was it Ed Gein?
I don't know. What do they call him? Like Buffalo Bill or some shit?
Yeah, that was Buffalo Bill, but that was from a movie.
I don't know. Either way, I can tell you it puts the lotion in the skin.
Or it gets the
lotion
hose
back in the
again.
basket. Right. You put the lotion back in the basket. Puts the Joe Dirt in the hole.
What's that meal that Hannibal wanted? Something about Chianti or something? What was it he wanted to eat?
Ate his liver with fava beans and a nice Chianti.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
Very well done. Scott, you definitely got to be Hannibal Lecter at some point. You did right. You did well with that.
Well, I do try.
Took me there. You really took me there. And we are going to be discussing that movie with Wade, so it's going to be fun. Now, Zachary has the retro title, and the game you have chosen is Eight Eyes.
That's right, 8 Eyes. Yep. Not 16, not 24. It's just 8 of them.
Some people call
Nintendo.
it Yahtzee, but for some reason they called it Eight Eyes on the NES. I don't know why.
What'd you say? Some people call it what?
Yahtzee?
Yahtzee? Yeah, I mean, it depends on how you roll the dice,
Yahtzee. No, Eight Eyes is a cool game, and we'll discuss that. A lot of people probably haven't. May even heard of that game.
I will tell you, if you played this game by yourself, you were very pissed off. But we'll get to that later.
And I will be discussing the present day game, and it's a game I've been playing a lot of lately. It's called Persona 3 Reload from Sega and Atlas Games. Super.
So this is a present day game. Persona 3 is still present day.
Yeah, Persona 3 Reload it's a remake of the original game.
Okay.
And it's hot to try it. People are loving it. Basically, what they've done is they took the Persona 5 engine and just put Persona 3 in there.
Right, yeah.
And they've it's all been changed. It's all got brand new animations, brand new everything. It's beautiful.
I wish somebody would get on remaking Parasite Eve, but
Well, we'll have to bring that up with somebody, whoever does that game. And Scott's going to go into the future, into the year 2000,
Year
2000.
and speak about Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree. I wish they would have called it Shadow of the Derp Tree. That would be kind of fun.
The fuck is a dirt
Right.
tree?
I don't know if there's any such thing as a derp tree, but I'm sure Wade has planted one before.
First question: what color are trees?
Derp?
Nobody's gonna guess.
What color are trees?
Yes, what color are trees?
Depends on the type of wood.
Well, they're mostly gray. Yeah, on the outside, the bark. Yeah.
True. Unless, of course, it's a birch, then it's white.
It's still
Yeah.
kind of gray.
Nope.
Yep, black and white make gray. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Yep, you lose.
It's
Yahtzee.
only gray if you mix black and white.
They're on the same bark.
Interesting. They live in the same neighborhood, right?
Yeah, look
Wow.
to the cookie.
Look to the cookie. It will solve all the racial problems in the world.
Good old Seinfeld episode.
Seinfeld reference.
That
All
also
right, so
killed his vomit streak.
It did. It hasn't vomited since, 1979 or something? At
That
that
was a
point.
hot minute.
Yeah, it was like 13 years down the drain. So, as usual, we're going to start off today with a few grim facts. And today, these are all very grim because I chose topics today that relate to our first topic of Second Skin movie. So I figured Second Skin movie, you will find out, has have a lot of sad topics, and so I figured, why not go with some sad gaming grim facts today? Death is a part of all of our facts today.
Lord.
And the very first one I'm
hell
going to
happened
talk
to you
about
this
here,
week?
I'm feeling the death. Y'all. Feeling the death.
Sheesh.
I watched Second Skin like beginning of the week, and then I was been depressed all week. But I'm trying to get out of it, guys. I'm trying
That'll do it.
not to make fun of depression. If of course, if you have depression, please get yourself some help for real.
There is a hotline. I don't know the phone number, but maybe we'll add it in.
Yeah, we'll put that in there in the description, guys. Check out if you have depression, please check the number. Call them up and have somebody to talk to. It will be very, very beneficial to you to talk to someone. Which this first one we're talking about is actually from the Second Skin movie. Sean Woolley's tragedy. Sean Woolley he was a 21-year-old from Hudson, Wisconsin. Took his own life on Thanksgiving Day 2001. His mother, Liz Woolley, attributed his death to an addiction to the MMORPG EverQuest.
Jesus Christ.
Liz stated that Sean, who had epilepsy and depression, became increasingly isolated due to his gaming habits. In response to her son's death, Liz founded Online Gamers Anonymous to support others struggling with gaming addiction. Yeah, pretty heavy stuff there.
That is
And
great.
and it's very sad that that the young man killed himself.
He leave a
and-
note or anything? Did she say?
No, there was no note.
Yeah, from what I remember of the film, she had to break into his house or his apartment where he was at, and he had EverQuest loaded up on his computer. It was sitting there alive, and he was in his computer chair, and he had shot himself.
Jeez.
Now, as far as attributing it to him having bad gaming habits, that's something we can discuss in a little bit when we talk about the movie. But that's what she did. She created her Online Gamers Anonymous support group because of that situation, which I think was positive for her that she feels like she could help people
Right.
who might need it. So very beneficial there. Now, as far as some of her comments in the movie, we could save that for here in just a little bit. So number 2, the tragic death of a teenager in Russia. This is in 2015. Now, I hope I pronounced this correctly. In Ukali, Russia, a 17-year-old boy was found dead after reportedly playing the online game Defense of the Ancients, aka Dota, for 22 days straight in 2015.
Good Lord, 22 days straight?
Right.
Holy crap.
And of course, he had the same situation that people find themselves in. Didn't take any breaks, didn't sleep, didn't eat any food.
So his brain pretty much killed himself, or he killed himself. Is because you are a brain in a mech suit. So
yeah, and he was trying to, I guess, dominate the game. I don't know, but
be the personal level. I don't know, because that some games they offer you world first and server first and that kind of shit. So maybe they should probably, I don't know. I mean, I guess you could still achieve that. I know some games like let's take Guild Wars for instance. It would pop up and say, "Hey, it's been 2 hours. You need to take a break." Now I'm not saying games should kick you off the game, but maybe they could help. I don't know.
Well, yeah, especially in this kind of situation. This is a competitive game. It's all about people go pro. They have tournaments for this game, and I'm guessing he just was that into the competition. And it's just tragic that someone thinks that game is going to, propel them to further heights. Most likely what he was thinking, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
So I just thought, basically gamers out there, just take some breaks. Come back to it, take a few hours, go get a nap in.
Well, I think it's every 2 hours you need to take at least a 15-minute walk. At least. Or, walk around your house. Stand up.
Just get up and get 10 minutes, stretch your body out.
I mean, get up, grab a cheeseburger, take a dump, take a piss, get away from the computer for a few minutes, for fuck's sake.
Damn.
Yeah, go outside and yell at a squirrel or something.
You don't have to go outside, but
you get some fresh air.
You just need to make sure your body can circulate the blood for 15 minutes. That way your organs don't fail. Just saying.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what he did. He just he didn't eat, sleep, barely drank any liquids. He did dehydration, and that's what he died of: is severe dehydration and fatal thrombosis.
Yep. Blood is a little thick.
Yep. And number 3, this one is terrible. The death of an infant, 2010. A couple in South Korea faced negligent homicide charges after their 3-month-old daughter died of malnutrition in 2010. They were immersed in caring for a virtual child in the online game Prius Online, neglecting their real-life responsibilities.
Wow.
I think they did an episode of Law and Order about this. But, of course, they did it in New York, but, I'm pretty sure it was based off of this story.
Yeah, that was the one where the lady didn't recognize her own kid, right?
There was that one. And then, she also had the boyfriend in the house that locked her under the stairs or some shit. It was crazy.
Right, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's madness.
But, yeah, people like that, don't even waste the fucking taxpayers' money. Just get rid of them.
Yeah, it's pretty pathetic there. It's just like, again, we'll talk about that when we talk about the movie here in a minute, about similar situation, but they, obviously didn't let this happen. It's just in the same realm of conversation. And we'll go ahead and go to number 4. Number 4 is Xbox Live Murder Conviction. This is in 2011 in Philadelphia. Tyrone Spellman, who was 27 years old at the time, was convicted of third-degree murder following the death of his 17-month-old daughter, Aliyah Turman.
Wow.
So he was caring for the child by himself?
Yeah, what it was, he was playing Ghost Recon,
Mm-hmm.
and his daughter bumped into his Xbox console
Oh,
and messed up his game.
she was walking at 17 months?
17 months, yeah. I mean,
That's pretty good.
it's a
But
year and a half.
yeah.
I mean, think about it, though. She
So
was
what
probably
did
barely
he do? Like
walking.
beat her to death?
Yeah, what happened is he, when she knocked over his console, he attacked her and smacked her across the head, and it
Damn.
inflicted fatal head injuries.
What a fucking idiot.
He fled the scene, and he left her there critically injured.
Mm.
And then she just passed away because he didn't get her any care because he
Obviously.
was scared he's going to get arrested. And
Well,
it's like, well, duh. You would,
you're getting
you know.
arrested either way, pal. At least save, try to save her. Fucking moron.
Well, yeah, try to. Lesson learned here is anger
Just
management.
don't
people.
hit the children.
Yeah, and don't hit your children when they're 17 months old and don't know what they're doing.
Don't hit your children anyway. I mean, you can give them a spanking, but don't.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't mean it like that. Yeah, don't hit
I
them.
know,
Period. Violently. Don't violently attack your children. Terrible idea.
Unless
So,
they're
yeah, he's,
18 and then trying to stab you, that's fine.
Oh yeah, well that's different. That's a whole different scenario.
Yeah.
And the last grim fact today, I told you all these were grim.
I mean,
Very grim.
It's pretty rough, bro. Shit.
Yeah, these are rough. But this is what, these are actual things that happen out in the world. So, and it is gaming related.
Yes, this is true. Unfortunately, these are fucking gaming related. But yeah.
Yeah.
And see, this is the kind of shit that gives gamers a bad rep. I mean, you got 5 grim facts. You got 5. I mean, we ain't even got number 5 yet.
Well, we're on.
You got these 5, the 5 bad things that are super serious bad shit associated with gaming, and it's what gives people ammunition to say video games are causing our problems. We're shooting people, this, that, and the other. I'm like, what?
Well, these are all isolated incidents, that it should be said.
Right, obviously. But it does make your blood boil enough to where you want to go find that person, but that person's probably in prison. So you're not going to walk into the prison because Bubba, take to you too. So.
Yeah, and anybody who's committed crimes in these scenarios have been taken care of. Like, they are not in society anymore, and they don't belong in society anymore. People who have committed crimes, and of course, there's 2 people who basically committed suicide. Or one definitely committed suicide, and the other one
just died.
Committed suicide by
not taking care of himself. Yeah,
right, and just abused his body himself. And these other 2 were just negligent, and there was anger management issues where it's like, I mean, you're 27 years old, she's 17 months, and you're slapping her around. That's because she knocked over an Xbox. So, like, it's just a video game, And that's where I think most gamers, I think these stories are good to highlight because it shows you that people are people and people do horrible things regardless if it's a game or not.
Right.
And majority of gamers, we all can learn from these stories because I know I have ragey moments when I'm playing video games.
a lot.
Oh yeah. But I would never hurt someone. Like,
as long as you can hold on to that television.
Hey, I had a good grip on that TV. I had a great grip on that TV. That was a wonderful TV, by the way. And yeah, I've had my moments, but I never hurt anyone.
Don't Halo sword Chris and then laugh at him. Don't do it.
Well, By the way, guys, if you ever played that game with me, as long as you're not Zachary Horton, you're probably going to be fine. It's like the only person in this world that can just trigger me by like just saying one little sentence. It doesn't even matter what it is most of the time.
I got you.
But yes, these are all good things to learn from for gamers. It's like, like you were talking about, take a break. If you got some issues mentally, talk to somebody. Getting inside of a game you're not going to find answers there most likely, because the game is not designed to
Game is for entertainment purposes.
treat someone. Yeah, it's meant for entertainment. It's not meant for medical treatment, which is when a depression is a mental treatment, a medical treatment situation.
Right.
So if you have that, don't depend on a video game to get you out of it, because it's very likely not going to.
Right. Well, I mean, what I was saying, these scenarios for us gamers, we look at this kind of stuff, and these are cautionary tales for us. But from the outside, people who aren't gamers, people who are against video games, can use this kind of thing and say, okay, video games are horrible, they're bad, they're causing the decline of modern society, they're causing people to go out and commit murders and this, that, and the other. That was the only thing I was saying. It's just bad examples that the talking heads can use to say, okay, yeah, look, all gamers suck, they're bad.
Oh, absolutely, and you have a very valid point. These stories probably have been used in these kinds of discussions. But the problem with our whole argument is why it's never really it's never really took any kind of precedence or laws have been made about it or anything. It's because you could look into any type of hobby or type of organization, or like look at politicians themselves. Like, there's probably more things that's happened to politicians and their families due to their politics.
Right.
So, them bringing laws against stuff like this is really misdirected. It's just a talking point for them most of the time.
Yeah.
It's like gun control, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's just always a hot topic that they can bring up and get people's blood boiling, and it's something to campaign on.
Well, I mean, since the early to mid 90s, it's been video games and gun control and abortion and things like that. Back in the 50s, it was rock and roll music. I mean,
yeah, Elvis shook his hips too fast.
Dancing.
Right,
no dancing in here.
It was vulgar, the little girls would go screaming and whatnot whenever he'd move.
My daughter, ever since she saw that Elvis Presley, she ain't doing nothing but thinking about penises.
I had to buy her new panties all the time. Anyway.
Oh my God. So what's the fifth grim fact?
Yes, the fifth grim fact. That was a good discussion, by the way. League of Legends stabbing.
Fuck that game.
2014.
I would stab somebody over that game. I mean, I'm just kidding. I know. I fucking hate that game, dude.
Yeah, this game, I played it once and I'm like, nah, I'm good. I uninstalled it after one round. I was out.
I'd stab my fucking computer. I mean, that would be the first death. The computer would die. Yeah, I hate that game. Absolutely.
See, guys, this is what I'm talking about. Gamers are so violent, So this one is it unfolded in Jilin,
So it was a
China,
switchblade?
spelled Jilin. I don't know. Jilin, China, 2014.
Jilin?
When a young man, Jilin,
How you spell
spelled Jilin. Jilin.
it?
Jilin.
China.
Jilin, probably.
Jilin, that's right. That sounds pretty good, yeah. Jilin, China.
We're gonna find out. Y'all keep talking.
So what happened? What happened in 2014 in Jilin, China?
So what happened was a young man
It
named...
is Jilin, you're correct.
Good job, Scott, with the win. Young man named, here we go, Lianji.
Oh shit, are we gonna make fun of this guy?
Lion G. Lion G. I don't know. Spell Lianjie. You want to look that one up?
Leon,
Probably
Lange.
Leon G.
Leon G. Leon G.
Okay.
Fatally stabbed his parents
What the fuck?
after they criticized his League of Jesus.
League of
League of
leggings? No
Legends
wonder.
addiction.
You should never make fun of someone's leggings.
Absolutely not.
All right.
There's a run in those leggings. Just let it be.
So they said he sucks at League of Legends, so he's like, fuck you, and stabs him.
Apparently they criticized him being addicted to it.
Oh, okay. So he was like, you don't love me. And then
Yeah.
offed him.
He was
Crazy.
The 23-year-old had abandoned his studies to game full time.
Oh.
Which,
Oh,
hey,
wow.
now if he was good enough, he could make money
Well,
doing that.
was he
now.
making money? Obviously not.
Well, parents can be critical of a kid who is going to like give up their college or whatever and
Well, like
play a game full
if
time.
they had spent $70,000, I would have still like, you're going to college. You're going to finish that, and you can still play your game.
Well, they probably didn't have to pay for college over there, but
I don't know. I've never lived there, so.
Well, most countries' colleges are much cheaper. So anyway, this case points to the extreme measures some individuals might resort to when their gaming lifestyle is challenged. So yeah, gaming addiction is real. We can say that out loud. It's okay. However, I think in this situation, it wasn't the games that created the animosity here.
No, it was the individuals with addictive personality.
Well, he was addictive to something, but then his parents probably were very heavy-handedly telling him that he's stupid and he was making terrible decisions, and he just, how some parents can be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Overbearing.
When their son abandons the dreams they have for them.
So which parent was that for you?
Oh, I didn't have that problem with my parents. I just stayed away from most of the time. I like do what I wanted to do and worry about them later. But they never tried to do that to us at all, from what I remember. But at least to me,
we're not going to say it on here, but I do remember an incident.
No.
Yeah, as a buddy of mine would say, "Click next scene."
Yeah, next.
I hadn't felt that way in the past. I didn't feel like I had to stab them to death. Let's say that.
No, I'm too pretty for jail, so.
Let's say that much. They didn't push me that far.
No, I don't feel like being someone's bitch. I'm someone's bitch. No, what was that movie? Fuck.
Oh, it was
the one where he fed the pizza to
Dave
the
Chappelle.
horse.
Oh no, it's not the Dave Chappelle one.
Yeah, it was Dave Chappelle, that tall white dude.
Yeah, the dude off of Spaceman or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Oh, just an easy search here. Chappelle marijuana movie. Half Baked.
That's it. Boom. I'm someone's bitch.
I'm someone's bitch.
I think
so that was
the horse a pizza or some shit, didn't he?
They fed him some Funyuns.
They just fed him a bunch of junk.
What was his name? Buttercup?
Yeah, something stupid.
Buttercup. Princess Buttercup. That reminds me of Princess Bride.
Yeah. You killed Buttercup.
Oh man, I got.
And it was the Squirrel Master. I think Squirrel Master was his bitch in prison.
That's a fantastic film. I just know that.
Oh, it's a great one. A great one.
Well, that was an interesting discussion on our 5 grim facts. They were very grim today, so if you're listening, I do apologize if any of those things upset you.
Harlan Williams.
However, yeah, he's great.
Yep. Jim Brewer was also in there.
These are topics that we should discuss from time to time, and especially us gamers, because Yeah, like Scott said, there are out there. People do accuse gaming for being some of the society's ills, and I don't know if it's society's ills, but it can be individual ills if it's not handled properly.
Right.
Which leads us to the discussion of second skin. That's what we brought Wade in specifically for this, and we're going to kick him out immediately after the discussion. Okay, he's gone. So y'all don't have to worry about this guy too much longer until after the movie discussions. Wade's out of here. Wade, sorry about that, man.
It's all good, dude. It's all good. But I'm going to uplift this podcast by like a notch, and that's about it. With the movie of Second Skin, which was a 2008 South by Southwest release, and then sometime in 2009 released to very limited theaters and a DVD release. But if you're interested in the film, you can actually watch it on YouTube. That's where I currently rewatched it the other day.
Same.
I did watch
It had
it
been
for the
some
first time.
years. Oh, good. All right, so I'm going to kind of give you a brief description of what IMDb characterizes this movie, along with some of the characters and a little backstory of their lives that they portray in the movie, and then we can kind of discuss some of the topics that the movie tries to relay in their perspective. But anyways, this movie was directed by Juan Carlos Pinheiro, and I'm not going to pronounce his Escoriaza. Anyways, like Juan Carlos, that's what we'll call
There we
him.
go. Perfect.
I
Created
like
this
Juan
movie
Carlos.
to investigate the realm of computer role-playing games, focusing on die-hard players who have had their lives altered by the gaming obsession. While this documentary notes the pastime's positive aspects, specifically including a disabled gamer who finds a sense of freedom online, it depicts people consumed by their dedication to living in a fantasy world, and also featured our game designers and psychologists who weigh in on spending time in the virtual reality of the MMORPGs that they follow. So the two games that they mainly focus on is EverQuest 2 and World of Warcraft, which I would probably say were the two biggest MMORPGs at that time.
Definitely 100%.
Yeah. So I'm gonna name some characters in this film, along with a little bit of backstory to them. So we'll start with Heather Cowan and Kevin Keel. Now, these two were both EverQuest 2 players who bonded and found a relationship through the game, and eventually Kevin ended up moving, I don't remember how far it was, but somewhere in Florida to live with Heather.
Yeah, he moved from Houston, Texas, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so it was a haul.
Yeah, it was
Oh, yeah.
it was several hours. I will say that for sure. On a plane, not just driving.
And the other characters is Matt and Chris. They are housemates in Fort Wayne, Indiana, who are absolutely addicted to World of Warcraft, along with another roommate for a short amount. Well, in the film for a short amount of time, Anthony, who later we'll discuss in the movie, moves out because he's getting married, along with another guy, Andy, who moves with his wife from California to Fort Wayne, Indiana, so that he could be closer to his online Warcraft friends, which doesn't quite make sense to me. If it's an MMORPG, you should be able to stay where you're at. But either way. And the last character to me, which was the most interesting character in this whole film, was Dan Bustard, who seemed to be like I don't know, seemed like he had his life together as far as the film depicted, and got addicted to Warcraft and sought out help, which didn't turn out good, and just basically a 360 and started it all over again until he got better and then started it all over again. So, but that's the movie in a nutshell, and it really focuses on the addiction of the game, the relationships built within that game, and basically the greed that like Blizzard and the makers of these games have, and hold you within that game to continue to play hours and hours and hours and purchase things. So, Zach, you said this is the first time you saw it. What was your thoughts on the whole movie?
Well, I mean, it was solidly accurate. You would definitely be late for work or not go to fucking work, uh, not give a shit about anything around you while playing the damn game. Of course, I played World of Warcraft from, what was it, '05 to shit, just a few years ago, really. And, but of course, I was lucky enough not to get just pinned down with it and not do anything else. Of course, I'm married, I have 3 children. I've had a job the entire time, so very, very fortunate there. But as far as the movie goes, it definitely starts out with high hopes for these people, and it definitely gets into their relationships later on. I think I really want to focus on the parent and the one dude, and he was just all distraught like most of the damn time because he couldn't figure out how to get back into society. And there was at that point in time, I didn't think there was anybody to try to even help him get back into society. So that was what I got from it. That one, I forgot his name. It was the one dude where his mama was giving him shit all the time.
You talking about the one who ended up taking his life?
Yeah,
right?
I think that was him. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, that's look. This lady started, as we talked about in the Grim Facts, that online gaming addiction halfway house basically is what it was, and they didn't really focus much on like her expertise other than she just holds them in a house and they bust up all their games, and basically I guess as long as they're paying her they stay there.
Oh yeah, what she said
But
was that she took the AA. She had went to AA meetings, and she took the AA program and just changed it to gaming.
oh
That's
yeah,
what she
that's right,
said.
she sure did. Yeah, and they didn't portray her as having a very good success rate in
No.
rehabilitating these people.
Well, she didn't have any training though.
One starting with her child. Yeah, no, she had no training whatsoever. And I think
Yeah, I mean,
even the gentleman talked about her parading them around as her addicts, and
yeah,
basically making a mockery
this
of
is
them.
the gamer, is what he said. Yeah, how she introduced him. She just told people that he was the gamer. This is
That's
the
it. Yeah,
gamer.
that was him. Yes, him.
Yeah,
Instead of
That's
yeah,
Dan.
Dan. Yeah, yeah.
Dan. Yeah,
Instead of what he was doing, like he would go. I think he did get a job, and then that she would still introduce him as the gamer, and in a derogatory form, um,
Right.
essentially. So it was pretty crazy.
yeah, and you've got to think me. The way that he was describing how she would act towards them, you would have to think her own son went through a hell of a lot worse.
Most definitely. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to treat people that are strangers like they're second rate citizens because they play video games, then imagine how she would treat her own kid. That had to been hell on that boy.
Just imagine if she was actually an AA sponsor or something like that. Man, that would be ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah, she was very good-hearted, but super misguided. She was overly strict and very micromanaging, like in the program that she was doing. Like she probably did that same thing to her son.
Oh yes.
And instead of getting him the actual help he was really needing, or kind of getting off his case a little bit and trying to talk to him and understand what's going on with him, she would probably just beating it into his head that he was a loser playing those games basically, and that's it. He's ruining his life, and you know how it can be.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. And also the group of guys that lived together, and their addiction to World of Warcraft was just absolutely, I don't want to say astonishing, because like back when Zach, and Chris, we used to all play Guild Wars, and then we kind of transitioned over to Warcraft. I find myself, my 2 days off during the week, sitting at my computer for a solid 8-9 hours. And I'm like, it took me probably about, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks to decide, this is not for me, and deleted my account and never did it again. So I can understand the addictiveness of it, because the games are fun. They're hella fun, especially if you have friendships in the game.
Oh yeah.
But they are time consuming as well. And unfortunately, I had a life to live, so I made that decision. But these guys, one of them in particular, did have a separate life than the other three guys. He had a wife. He had a pregnant wife who was going to give birth to twins during the documentary time frame, along with another gentleman who was in the middle of getting married. So I thought their story was very unique in the fact that when Burning Crusades, the expansion, came out, the ones who actually had vacation time took all of their vacation from work just so that they could
Play the game.
midnight release that and play that game and level up just as fast as they possibly could. And I'm talking like, I think one guy was dozing off at his computer as he was
Right.
trying to level up.
Well, I can't say that I've never done that, because I have done that a lot.
I have done that myself.
But I didn't have any obligations to anything. So.
In our defense, though, the only times I've ever dozed off in front of my computer was because I'd worked all day and didn't get to start playing until 9.
This is also true.
And
yeah, this is also true.
It's midnight and you've been on for a couple hours and you was already tired when you started. So
it's the way it starts today.
Right.
Yeah, I've never actually sat down and played it to the point of exhaustion, like starting off fresh and ready to go, and then by the end of a 12-hour period, I'm just exhausted. I never done that either.
No.
Nope. Can't say that I
No, your
have.
little paladin dwarf couldn't run that far.
Hey, now, my dwarf, I'm Retribution Pally, baby.
Dude,
he was amazing.
You're like, what do I do?
I'm a solo. But see, I didn't
realize
do
I played
the
that game
raids and stuff.
I played on dial-up.
Me too. Yeah, we networked dial-up, and people don't believe you when you tell them that. But
the way you do it, back in the day, you would dial in on one of them, and then you would hook the modems together with another phone line, and then you'd share a network connection. So essentially, you went from 56K to nothing. But
but it worked. It freaking worked.
It did. It was great.
And that was one thing that you brought up a while ago, when you mentioned the guy moved all the way from California to Indiana. I actually can understand that from the way it was back in the 2000s. The internet connection is like he probably had those friends that are like, hey man, we live in this house and we run this house. We don't you're not interfering with anything. We're all playing WoW here, and you could come join us and be part of this house and play it all you want without any worries, and set up and have buddies, and that way he could definitely, he had online interactions, but he had some in-person, actual, real-life social interactions too.
Well, one of them that was pregnant, they were just sitting there discussing him or her, and the husband was like, well, I'll play when you're doing this, or when the baby sleeps, and all this other shit they were talking about. It was really crazy.
The one thing the four guys in that house it reminded me of was that episode of South Park where Cartman and all of them were in the basement and they were playing freaking Warcraft.
Now we can play the game.
Yeah. Like, what do we do now?
Now we can play the game.
Oh, and the thing is, they nailed that too. It was like very accurate
Mom, me no. No, I'm kidding. That's the Will Ferrell movie. But he was saying Hot Pockets or some shit.
Yeah, Hot Pocket.
And they were shitting
But
on
yeah,
a
it was.
bucket, and they all had acne, and they were all fat, just looking up because that one guy was trolling them. Of course, in real
Yeah.
World of Warcraft, you can't just walk around killing people unless you're in a PvP zone, you're opposite faction. But either way, he was killing the same faction, which was I thought was fucking hilarious. And they're like, we can't get past this guy, so they killed hogs to level up until they got to the max level where they could kill him. And then what was it? Stan's dad went to fucking Best Buy to get a flash drive with the fucking sword on it or some shit.
Yeah, the sword of, was it Truth or something?
I don't remember the
forget
name
what
of
it
the
was called.
weapon, but it was nuts. He run in with it. Stan, oh God, my dad's here.
And so you talking about going to get that USB drive with that sword on it. They actually do talk about a little bit of that farming and
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all the
Oh, one,
bots and
digging
the
it.
gold
Old
sellers
farmers.
and shit. They're like the one guy was actually leveling up accounts and selling them to make money. That way he
by
didn't
the
have
way,
to
the
get a real
sword was
job.
called the Sword of 1,000
That's
Truths.
right.
I was
Yep.
close.
Yep.
So sticking with those four guys in the same house, towards the end, of course, that one guy has his child or his twins. So a little bit less gaming, even though he makes it sound like, I'm going to be able to sneak in a couple of raids through the week, which is cool.
You can do that at night.
As long as your focus is on the children, yeah. Get your shit done and then go play that game. But I thought it was really funny because they kind of slowed down, and then that other roommate left, which apparently owned most of the furniture in that house,
Yeah.
and got married. And you could just see on the other two guys' faces when they were interviewing him after that, it was almost just like, I don't know, like their heart was crushed. They quite didn't know what to do. They were just really fully bummed out.
because they never, tried to do anything for themselves or to, I don't know, to maybe have a relationships outside of, sitting there playing a game.
Well, I mean, it was almost like they had a relationship had ended. Like
Well, I mean, it can
they
feel
lost
like
their
that. It
girlfriend
can
or
feel like
whatever.
that when let's hell, let's call it what it is. You're used to talking to somebody all the time, but then all of a sudden they just fucking drop off the face of the planet, basically.
Right. It was like they lost, that kind of relationship, and their girlfriend moved out and took all of her furniture with her because they didn't have shit
And
when
by
they met
furniture,
her.
he means their, yep,
Beds and
Everything.
it was nuts.
everything.
It
Yeah,
was everything.
dudes. What was it? He said, yeah, he owned both of the couches and took them with him, or something like that.
And the bed.
And the bed, yeah, dude didn't have the bald guy. What was his name? Matt. He
Why
didn't
we
have
got
a
to
bed to
describe him
sleep
as
in or
bald?
nothing.
What's up with that?
Well, because that distinguishes him from the fat guy.
Well, Jesus Christ. What if they were bald and fat? What the fuck you do then?
Then I would say the bald fat guy.
That's like that movie Drive Angry. Hey, fat fuck. Hey, you can't talk to me like that. If you're lucky I didn't say
I
dead
know.
fat fuck.
Wasn't that bald guy? What was his name? Chris, or was it Matt? Matt was the bald one. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Matt was the skinny bald
Destroyer
guy.
of guilds,
Here we
right?
go with
What
this
his
bald
name?
again.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I forget what the other one's name was. The other one was Anthony. Was
No, I
that?
thought it
Is
was
that what it
Fat
was?
Yeah,
Guy.
I think that's
Anthony
right.
was a young
Anthony,
guy that got
Chris.
married.
Anthony Fat. I don't.
No, Anthony's the
see
one that
the-
got married. What was the other one's name?
Chris was one of them.
Yeah, Chris was the guy that had the lip stud. We'll go with that.
There
He
we
was the one
go.
that was sad that he was
Something that
leaving.
he chose to do. Lip stud. That makes sense.
Yeah, we had Andy, Anthony, Matt, and Chris. And of
Yeah,
course,
that's
that's
Andy's the one that moved from California.
Right.
with the twins. Yep.
Yeah.
Anthony's the one who got married during the film, and the fat guy and the bald guy, that was Matt and Chris.
Oh my god.
Their last known whereabouts were they were still together, right?
Yeah,
the
they were still living in the same house.
It's funny because I tried to look up, and I think Chris, you did too. Kind of a where are they now? Yeah, that they're off the face of the planet. You can't find any information on them on the web, or
Nothing.
at least I couldn't.
I couldn't, dude. I looked everywhere, everywhere, and there's not even like a YouTube video of somebody off of the movie doing something on YouTube. Which is, you would think these guys that play WoW like that, they're probably experts in the game. They could have like started a YouTube channel that they would be teaching people how to play the game, or
Right.
just streaming it or whatever. But nothing. I can't find any of them.
Well,
Well,
the
one
other
of
thing I
them's
found
gone.
interesting about the
What do you mean? Which
gone.
one?
Hold on, I thought you were just talking about everybody in the film.
Oh my God,
Four guys. Just a.
we're talking about Grim Fact number
Yeah.
one.
Oh well, no.
Yeah.
Now that didn't. They wouldn't. They didn't show that until the very end of the movie.
Yeah, that one wasn't really a main focus. They were just that she was giving backstory on why she did what she did.
Yeah,
But
he
now,
wasn't.
one of the aspects of the movie that I thought was interesting was talking about. Wade mentioned it earlier about the gold sellers and the
Did
the
you
bots
see?
and
You still
whatnot.
see those motherfuckers on there?
Yeah, but it gave you a different perspective. I mean, for us, as the guys, we were just hanging out playing Warcraft. The gold freaking farmers, gold sellers, those were the most annoying little bastards
Well, that's
on
just
there.
because they were killing
Because they
everything you were trying to do for a quest.
Well, it was that, and then there was the spamming in the general
yeah.
chat. Anytime
The
you went
bots,
to a
yeah.
town, it was, they were spamming the hell out of,
But see, he was
the
that one
general
guy was one
conversations.
of them. Well, he was in a gold farmer. He would level up the accounts and sell the account,
Right.
which is of course against the end user license agreement. But that's how he was
Right.
making money instead of having a job.
Yeah, but they kind of portrayed the people that were selling, that were doing the work for gathering the
Yeah, I
gold.
mean, they were
they gave you a
like
different.
from China
They were
and
just
stuff like that.
average
Korea,
Joe trying to make a
Yeah.
paycheck.
China and Korea, they would. I think it was the last podcast. Didn't we talk about this kid dying in a internet cafe? Man, that's
Yeah.
what they would
Yes.
have them farming in there, man. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, so basically that whole segment of that movie came up because they discussed how much money Blizzard made off the sale of their games versus how much physical currency changes hand inside the game illegally or against
Against their EULA. Yeah.
gaming policy. Yeah, so basically it was just a shift to, it's more or less a sweatshop in China
Yeah.
that's botting or farming for all this stuff, and I don't remember the actual physical dollar amount, but
What was the
mind blowing.
statistic? The statistic on Burning Crusade, they in one day, on launch day, they made $96 million on launch day, and that was what was it, 50% more than the average blockbuster film makes in a weekend, on opening weekend. I think it was like 60 million is what a movie would clear on opening weekend. And at the Burning Crusade, that expansion alone made $96 million in one
they
day.
should have stopped with that expansion because that was the best one.
I mean, I liked Wrath.
Whatever.
Wrath was pretty good.
But yeah,
Yeah, I
Wrath
liked
of the
Wrath
Lich King
as
was
well.
okay.
I liked it. I liked that one better than I did
But
Cataclysm.
everybody hated
Cataclysm
Cataclysm because of what was it, the phases,
the
phases.
instancing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last one I played was the Panda Bear one.
Oh
whatever
God,
that one was.
that one, the Mist of
Yikes.
Pandaria.
Yeah, I was very bored. I was out.
Well, I will say I've never played any expansion, so
I quit after Cataclysm because I didn't want to play Kung Fu Panda.
Well, you didn't have to play a panda. You could have been a human.
It's not that I didn't. Not that I didn't want to play as a panda. It's that I didn't want to play a game that they were using. They were what was it? Capitalizing on Jack Black's character. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what happened.
That runs on capitalism. You know.
Oh, see, the area that they created for the Pandora, whatever it's called. I didn't enjoy
Well,
that
no, it
area. I
was
just thought it
phased
was
it was
lame.
phased as well, just like Cataclysm was. I think all of it's phased
Yeah,
now.
that's what it,
So
Yeah.
it's
I haven't,
terrible.
like I said, I haven't played in a few years, so I don't really know. I haven't talked to anybody that's played it. I think the last thing that I was playing from Blizzard was Diablo 4 and Overwatch, and I don't play any of that shit anymore. I'm playing Helldivers.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't play that trash anyway.
Helldivers.
Nah, that's a great game. Wade, you should
And you
play
don't
that
have to
game.
life that game either, man. You can play for a little while, cut that bitch off.
Helldivers 2 is a really
Yeah,
good
it's pretty
game.
fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, I can't tell you the last game I did play, but I do know that the next game that I download is going to be The Sims, and somebody's going to be set on fire or drowned.
Let's go.
They're going down, baby.
All right. So one of the other big topics of this movie was relationships, and not the male bonding relationship, but more of the male female relationship. And it did give a statistic which was very believable that what was it? The male to female online gaming ratio was
Yeah.
like 1 to 10,
Yeah. For
and
every female, there was 10
10.
Well,
single
I will
males.
tell you
Yeah,
that
and then
my
out of
avatars are female. And the
ooh,
reason they are is because they move faster, they have smaller hitboxes. I mean, it's insane. I mean, you got all these options. So
They got the smallest hitboxes, but they get hit on the most.
no, I never indulged in that. That's some fucking freaky shit. Okay, like when I started Guild Wars 2,
and
I
then
made a what was it, a Sylvari, which is people made from trees, and her name is Dusk Petal because of her hairstyle, not for any other reason.
you just
Man,
didn't
I
want to
just
call her
thinking of,
Pat.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about Guild Wars, like how many boxes we used to have of
I miss
CDs
all
and
my
that we had
discs,
to install
dude.
each expansions and stuff. I had stacks
Now
of
all you
them.
got to do is, remember your password or whatever and log in, and it'll download everything that you purchased on
You
your
can
account.
still buy Guild
Yeah, you can still
Wars.
buy it. You can actually get it on.
Yeah. They're still coming out with expansions and
Not
shit
red,
for
not
that,
for
right?
not the
For the
first
first
Guild
one?
Wars. No. Um,
Yeah, you can still buy
well,
the
see,
first one for $10
there's
for everything.
a whole nother podcast for Guild Wars. Just regular Guild Wars, because the expansions weren't expansions until you got the last one, which was an actual expansion. The other
Oh,
expansions
that's
were
true. They were
games.
actually
Yes,
standalone
that's
games,
correct.
right?
Yeah.
I love that game,
Well, this is
Yeah. So you
insane.
didn't have to have the
which we
base
call
game to
prophecies
play
now,
those
sir.
other ones.
Thank you.
That's crazy. You
So
can get every expansion, everything for $10 right now.
Yes. Well, it's because they don't update or anything anymore.
It's fine, but it's cool that you can go online
Well,
and
the
play it.
reason
Though.
is because the achievements that you do in Guild Wars 1, you get stuff in Guild Wars 2 for.
Pretty neat. I even buy it again. I might do it. I didn't play all the expansions.
You still
on
have
that
the
game.
account. All you got to do is log in.
Oh, there you go. I
And
just
then
need
you
the
can just
account.
buy the
Then.
expansion.
Boom.
Well, you may just want to go ahead and buy it for $10 and get all the expansions. Well, I mean, I think you bought
I bought a bunch of
yeah.
them for sure. I just didn't play them. Anyway, that's a sidetrack. But I just happened to type it in. I was like, what if it's
Just
still there?
derailed Wade.
Yeah, I did
No,
wait.
it's
I'm sorry,
okay.
bro.
It's all good. But anyway, so for every one female, there's 10 male gamers, and then for every um, one out of every three female gamers actually find their relationship through the game. And I think they talk to various um, couples, but they really focus on that one that flew from Houston to Florida, Kevin and Heather,
Yeah.
which they do not kind of give you an update at the end, or at least I don't remember an update of how their
It
relationship
was.
went. But it
At the
seemed
end
like
of
it.
it, they talked about they signed another 1 year lease, or they renewed their lease on the
Yeah.
apartment. That was
They
all the
were.
Gotcha.
information they gave
They were in
about
good
that.
spirits and happy at the
Well, I
end.
know people in
Now, if they're
my real life that met on games. They moved away to another state because it was a better job opportunities, all this other shit. Well, they broke up, but they still play the game together. So, pretty nuts.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
well, Chris, you and I had a good friend that very similar. He met met his now wife and baby mother, and he moved, Josh. So
Yep, sure did.
Um,
Yep, Josh did. And
I guess it's just like any relationship. It's a roll of the
my
dice.
friend, y'all know
whatever
Steven.
his name was, Kindus.
Oh yeah,
Y'all met Steven. He met his wife on World of
Yeah,
Warcraft.
that's nice. That's cool.
And they're still together. They got 3 kids, doing well. So there's lots of good success stories, and then of course there's going to be some fails. That's part of life, you know. You can. Everybody's probably had a failed relationship, or most people at least.
Just
Oh
one.
yeah. The other aspect that I liked that they
At
talked
least
about
one.
was the sense of community. You know, like they talk that one guild. I think it's the largest guild
the syndicate,
around, the syndicate. Yeah,
Yeah, I love that.
insane.
they got like 600 members or something. At that point, they had 600 members, and they had conventions, and like 100 of them got together, and then they would have monthly dinners where 15 or 20 of them would show up to hang out. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and they talked about how prestigious that guild was. I mean, there were people. Of course, there was an application
Oh
process to
yeah,
even
still
join,
is on some of them.
and people send in resumes like they were applying for jobs. I think they were like um, video resumes, video interviews. I mean, it was just insane. The size of that. Well, not necessarily that size, but just the prestige of that guild. I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there was one of their guild members said that getting into that guild was like was you could compare it to getting into
Jesus
Harvard,
Christ!
or
I,
that
I
it
don't
was
want to
that kind
touch
of
any man
process.
like
They were
that.
very particular as to who they let in the guild, and they the questions that they asked, it was about their education level. They asked about
Well, you gonna stand in the
um,
fire. You know, are you? Do you play a hunter? You're not in the guild. That's just no. And you stand in fire. Fuck you. Stay away. I'm just saying.
they asked about outside relationships, if took if what your job was, that kind of thing. They were people were actually interested in the kind of person you would be, and if you would be a good
Well, they
part
don't
of
want you
their
to be a
guild. I thought that
psycho,
was
and then they don't want you to be greedy, and then they want you to make sure you're going to be able to show up and not make people wait to start raids, or um, you end up having to substitute somebody or do what we call a pickup game, a pug, PUG,
right.
pug.
Plug it
So
up.
I hated pugs, dude, because you would just get some stupid fucking people, and then they would just stand in fire. Like, should have known better.
Yeah, playing with randos was always horrible.
Yeah, I don't get that. It's like there's so many people out in the world playing the game, and you would think if you've paid money, you're paying a monthly
If you would be good
fee
at the game,
to play the
yeah.
game. Not necessarily good, but more of like like a participant. You know what I mean? Like willing to learn and get better, and being a good partner in the group. That kind of thing. That's what I mean.
Instead of
Not
a
necessarily
leech.
good at the game.
Yeah.
I can't claim that I'm good at games I play. I'll just try my best when I'm in there. But I think, yeah, like you said, though, you got people on there that they jump in with you and they just are assholes, and they're just deliberately acting stupid and not doing right and not trying, just making life hard on anybody else who's actually trying to do something.
Right. That's why I always hated the LFG and the
Well, the
the
good news about
pubs and all that
LFG
shit.
now, well, from several years ago, is you get like fucking 25 people, so people can carry other people that are doing stupid shit. And the bosses are a little easier. They
Right.
have less health and all this other stuff. But then you go into normal mode, which you have to have the people in your group. I think to do like the hardest level, you have to be on the same server, or you used to. You used to have to be on the same server to go into like Mythic or whatever.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think they refined that looking for group
Yeah, you just click a button, wait there, and
to
then they separated the
yeah.
raids and wings. That way, you're not sitting the whole raid with a random group of people. So it chopped it up a little. They should have done that in the beginning, where you didn't have like 8 hours in one fucking room. So, but who was
Right.
thinking about that back then? They probably didn't think it was going to be that big when they started it, but it ended up that way.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey guys, so that is Second Skin in a nutshell. Um, I do think that the Juan Carlos did a pretty good job of portraying the relationships that people form in the gaming community, as well as the addictive side and, to an extent, the dark side of MMORPGs. So, as a business
True.
model.
Yeah,
Um, so I think if you like documentary films and you like MMORPGs or just games in general, it's a good watch. And like I said, you can find it on YouTube, so it's a free watch. Um, it's just a little outdated, so
That's okay. It's good for
but
people to learn about the
still fits in with the
past,
times.
because a lot of
Yeah, I mean
people don't get history
it was
anymore.
good.
I mean, this is part of history.
It was
well,
good for the nostalgia. The nostalgia factor
my
was, you know,
yeah, huge nostalgia factor, and I like the part where it's actually talking about buying in-game goods with
Oh
real
my God,
money. How they looked
microtransactions.
at that like
right.
that was they looked at that back then as like, oh my god, are you serious? That's crazy. Now it's like on every game
Yep.
has that. It's
I
in
mean, I can't say
everything.
anything. I did just spend $10 on Helldivers 2 because I needed stuff for our
Yeah.
team.
So-
There's one little booster that we're gonna get that it limits the encounters with it like lengthens the time between encounters with monsters
yeah, and I feel like
or
it's
enemies.
okay. I'm not hating on it on in certain circumstances. Like Helldivers 2 does a good job with it. It's not a ridiculous ask what they're
Except they
trying
put
to
all
do.
our new weapons behind a paywall. But anyway, fuck them. It's whatever.
Well, that's how they roll.
Mhm.
That's what happens eventually. But
But they
you don't
said they
have
weren't
to
going to
buy
do it.
them.
They lied. Anyway,
Well, if you look at it in the same vein as hunters, people who go fishing, people who enjoy
yeah, it just
outdoor
depends on your
sports like
hobby,
disc
because I also
golf or
collect
regular golf.
Pokemon
I mean,
cards. So
right. I mean, it's not really any different. It's not really any different to me than say going to the video game arcade and get taking a roll of quarters with you and standing there playing bad dudes
bad
all freaking
dudes.
night. I mean, it's the same. It's just according to what you want to spend your money on, or if you're a hunter, if you have to, you want to buy the certain kind of rifle or the certain kind of bow, or if you're a fisherman, you got to have this kind of lure or that kind of bait. It's what your hobbies are and what you spend your money on. I mean, video games is for most of us, casual gamers, it's a hobby for us. It's not like it's a profession. So, spending real money on, in-game stuff. It, I mean, I don't like the idea of microtransactions. I don't like games that, um, have pay to win and bullshit like that, because that just kind of ruins the experience. But in general, like talking about Helldivers 2, you got $10, you buy 1,000 credits, and you get to open up that
War
particular
bond. Yeah.
section of goods, the war bond.
And you get access to all of it. It's not like they're making you pay $10 for a little
That's
slice
true.
of it.
Right.
Like,
Like a skin on Overwatch is like 20
what?
bucks. So don't ever buy skins on Overwatch, people.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. So yeah, Wade, I think this was a great movie to discuss. Wonderful
Yeah, it was a good
job
topic.
presenting it.
There was actually one, and I don't even know how I forgot this topic. And they didn't really spend much time in this movie, this documentary, focusing on it. It may have been because that wasn't the narrative that he was trying to portray, but it was very uplifting. That one story of, I don't remember his name, but he was confined to a wheelchair. I don't remember what all disabilities he had, but he couldn't talk, and he
Mm-hmm.
played the MMORPGs for a way to him to feel normal and have a voice. And I thought that was very, very uplifting. But like I said, they didn't spend much time on it for reasons I don't know. But there is. It was good for him, and it made me
Right,
feel
and
good.
they've made a lot of advancements in accessibility to games for people with disabilities. Like, let's say someone was stuck in a wheelchair, or let's say they were paralyzed from the neck down, they could use their tongue and play the damn game, and it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, there's
Or they
lots of
suck and
games
blow on a
that's
straw a certain way, and it does everything in the computer. It's amazing.
hey, there's a lot of things that can get done with sucking and
Oh
blowing.
my
That's for
god!
sure.
I guess you got a lot of experience with that.
Yeah. You had to know that was coming,
That's
Z.
what she said. What?
Okay.
So yes, that was a very fun topic, and yes, that is a big key point too. Way I'm glad you brought that up. It was a heartwarming part of the story, watching him being able to play and interact with people, and not being because he can't speak. I thought that was really nice. So I have a proposal for you guys. This is we're an hour and 11 minutes
I
into
don't want to
this
get married
already.
again. I mean, what?
So I was thinking we could just maybe call it an episode, and we'll discuss our other games in a separate episode. What do y'all think?
That's a possibility for me. I'm okay with that. We'll make it a part 1, part 2.
Yeah, this will be part one, and then part two will be the discussion of the games. So I think this topic turned into a great discussion and justifies being its own episode, really, because honestly, I'll probably end up, putting a few more warnings at the beginning and stuff
Yeah,
too for people.
that would be good. There's
And
I forgot the number on it, but let's see. There's a suicide hotline you can put on there, um, and then maybe try to find a Gamers Anonymous thing.
yeah, we can do that for sure. So will be a lot of this stuff will be linked in the description of this episode, everybody, including links to find everybody here, including Wade does Red Magnolia Films. Is that what you're calling it now, Wade? I just want to make sure I say it correctly.
That's it.
Yeah, Red Magnolia Film Productions. The links for him will be down below. So check him out. Go give him a follow and support him. And of course, if you want to follow Zach and Scott, they're kind of boring, but you can go check them out. They're cool.
If you want
I
to talk
guess.
to me, I'm not boring. But if you just come and expect me to talk to you and you don't say anything in my chat, guess what? I'm not going to fucking say anything to you. All right. I'm going to play the game. I'm going to cuss at the game. All right. That's what's going to happen. Come by. You can watch me play some. Hell, I've been playing Balatro here lately, which is pretty crazy. Dude, I'm telling you, that game, it's got it's got all the things you need for the dopamine. It's got all the lights, the sounds, and you don't have to go to a casino.
There you go.
And it's
you
not
like
a slot
casinos.
machine. It's cards. It's playing poker.
That's another addiction we can talk about in the future.
Well, you could play it and put it down, is what I'm saying. It's not like something that you just have to be on as a zombie.
Yeah, I get you, bro. I've seen a lot of people are playing it.
I mean, it
just
came out the end of February.
It's taking over.
So the 20th. I think it came out
February. It's like
20th.
the next big game, like Pal World, Helldivers 2, now Balatro is a big, like, taken seriously, like getting super huge.
Oh, and
It's pretty wild. This year's been
Update
a
on
wild year for
Palworld, they're
games so
about to
far.
release a raid.
Yay!
Well, I don't know how they're going to pull that off unless you can get people to actually get on the server. Because I mean, it was me, Cat, Boogie, Chris played for a hot 2 seconds, and
Yeah, I like the game.
and like all your stuff's destroyed, by the way. Well,
That's
the reason
okay.
it is, I had to go in and change the code where I could get somebody else off of the server that started their own server or some shit. I don't even know. But basically, you change the timer of how quickly it degrades or whatever, and it just fucking. It was based on when the last person in that guild was on, so it like deleted their stuff instantly because they hadn't been on since the first day they were on there. So yours obviously got deleted, but me and Kaz the only ones that actually have finished the fucking game. I think Boogie might have made it to 50.
Well, y'all very dedicated.
But I don't know.
Yeah, we will.
Palworld, got to throw those spheres.
See,
and
that's the
gotta catch
problem.
most of them.
It's not about the catching of the pals.
Yeah, go catch them, y'all. That's what they say. Go catch them, y'all.
But I did catch it. I have caught and hatched. I've acquired each pal so far that has entered the game.
You
But I
are a
make them
monster.
work when I got the server on. I don't turn the server on because nobody's ever on there because Cat's playing Balatro. I play Balatro and Helldivers. I log into Guild Wars 2 every once in a while just to get my free shit. And I might go around killing some stuff for, nostalgic feel, then I'll turn it off. But because I don't have a guild anymore on there, so I'm not doing raids and stuff. That was a whole separate topic, but me and that guild leader did not see eye to eye.
Gotta love it. Well, thank y'all for listening today. This has been part 1 of this episode. We're going to talk about 8 Eyes, Persona 3 Reload, and Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree in the next one. And we do appreciate all the support and love. And Wade, thanks for joining us again, man. This was really
Get
fun.
the fuck out.
Hopefully, we'll have you on again sometime.
We're supposed to.
We'll talk about some. There's a lot more gaming documentaries out there that we could discuss that are really good too. So we'll have you back sometime whenever you want to join.
Yeah, hopefully the next one will not be so depressing.
Well, are you going to bring in 5 Grimm facts on part 2?
No, I'm going to bring 5 cheerful, super happy facts for part 2.
Defeating the purpose. We got to stay grim.
Oh yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We might spruce it up with a few more facts next episode. We'll try to keep them a little less sad though.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, the 5 Grimm facts and this documentary that we talked about, they addressed some serious things that are actually part of the world of gaming. I mean, it's not like we didn't ignore it or try to sweep it under the rug. It's something that it's people need to talk about it sometimes, and maybe this will help somebody if they get the right information out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
absolutely, 100% agreed. And that's how a lot of problems can be solved. Talking about them, getting awareness.
Let's talk
out
about
there.
your GPS reports.
Well,
we're putting a new cover on them before they go out
now.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and come on back.
We're gonna have you come in on Sunday.
We might have to start us a movie podcast.
Cool.
We'll see. But y'all, thanks for everybody for listening. Thanks for being here, everybody, and we will see you next time for some more Horton Brothers Grimm. We love you guys. Stay cool. We out.
Laters.